In this video, we're going to spend a little bit of time going over AWS CLI commands, and you're going to want your Cloud9 environment up and running for this one. The format for a CLI command is AWS, options, command, and then subcommand and parameters. So you'll always start your CLI command with AWS, and then the options refer to your different services. For example, I could find EC2, and then type AWS EC2, and then a command. And if you go to the AWS CLI docs through Google, and then find the EC2 page, you'll get a list of all of the available commands that you can run. For example, I see a command that looks interesting called describe instances. So I know from the CLI that I should be able to type AWS EC2 describe instances, and I should get something as a result. Let's give it a shot. And I sure did. I got a large JSON object describing all of my instances, and you can see that the instance information includes whether it's running or not, its launch time, any public and private DNS information it has, the VPC that it's attached to, and just about any other information that you'll need. And because it's returned in JSON information, that means that you can use that with just about any application you're running. Now, there's absolutely no way that we can efficiently cover all of the hundreds and hundreds of commands that you have at your disposal through the CLI. So what I absolutely recommend is checking out the documentation for the CLI on your own time. That being said, there are a few commands that as a developer myself, I find myself going back to over and over. So I'd like to share those with you now. The first is a command to list SSH key pairs in my default region. And I can do that using AWS EC2 describe key pairs. And you'll notice that I have two. I have a key name and a key fingerprint for each one. Another very useful command for network troubleshooting and just grabbing information about your security groups on the spot is AWS EC2 describe security groups, which is going to do exactly what it sounds like. For your default region, it's going to return a list of all of your security groups, including egress and ingress permissions, which is very useful. And that'll wrap it up for the commands that I wanted to cover in this video and how to read the AWS CLI docs. But once again, the CLI is going to be one of your most powerful tools at your disposal as you move into AWS, so I definitely recommend getting familiar with this one. And that'll wrap it up for the AWS CLI, so if that makes sense, then feel free to move on.